Hello and Assalamu alaikum. We are going to be doing quadratic equations middle term breaking today. It is extremely necessary to get a firm grip on the topic of quadratic equations, middle term breaking, computing the square, quadratic formula, because each and every prior topic in AS level math or A2 level maths is directly or remotely connected to this topic. If you have a firm grip of this topic, everything that follows will flow very easily. Our aim is to start you off with the basics to make you aware of the A, B, C, D's of the A level math so that you are able to formulate words using those A, B, C, D's on your own. This is a personification that I just used. So without further ado, let's start off with it. We're gonna start off with middle term breaking first. Now, this is a topic that most of you must have been familiar with, concerning that you have taken A level math, and middle term breaking is a topic that you will be familiar with. But we are going to still go over that middle term breaking mechanism once again, and we're going to break it down into different steps, in order to make the work much more organized for you. So we're going to start off with an example: x square plus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. And we're going to solve this equation for x. We're going to break our work into step-by-step forms. Step number 1. Multiply the coefficient of x squared with the constant. Let's rewrite the equation: x squared plus 5x plus 6. Now the coefficient, there is no coefficient of x square written. That means the coefficient of x square is 1. And our constant is a number that is without a variable, that is going to be 6, and our x square coefficient is 1. So we're going to multiply the coefficient of x square, which is 1, and we're going to multiply the constant, which is 6. And 1 times 6 gives us a 6. So this is our step number 1. Step number 2. Find the factors of the number in step 1, which is 6 in this case, that add to give you the middle term. Now factors are two numbers that multiply to give you a certain number. So we need factors of 6. We need numbers that multiply to give us a 6, and that add up to give us the middle term. Now why add? We're gonna discuss this on the next slide, that why are we adding. There's a very simple answer to this. You look at the sign of the constant. Now in this case we have x squared plus 5x plus 6. The constant is 6. What is the sign of the constant? It's positive. If the sign of the constant is positive, we add. If the sign of the constant would have been negative, like for example, it would have been x squared plus 5x minus 6. In that event, we would have looked for factors of the number found out in step 1 that subtract to give us a middle term. In that event, we're gonna do such examples further, but for these examples we simply need to add. So we're gonna continue with our step 2, that we need to look factors of 6 that add up to give us the middle term. So we're gonna do that over here. Now we're gonna list down factors of 6. The first pair of factors for 6 is 1 times 6. Now do 1 and 6 add up to give us the middle term, which is 5. 1 plus 6 is 7. I'm sorry, my bad. 1 plus 6 is 7. This does not add up to 5. So we're going to disregard this pair of factors. Another pair of factors for 6 is 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is a 6. Now when we add 2 and 3, we get a 5, which is our middle term. And yes, we are okay with this. And is 2 plus 3 is a pair of factors that we are going to go ahead with. Now this wraps up step 2. Now we come on to step 3. Step 3 is, in step 3 we need to break the middle term. Now, according to step 2, the middle term can be broken down into an addition operation involving 2 and 3 as something that we figured out in step 2. And there are two ways to perform the addition operation. Ways to perform the addition operation according to the rules of integers. But obviously, since our middle term contains an x, so we need to have an x with 2 and 3 in our addition operations. So we're gonna look into both of the ways, both of the addition operations, and then we're gonna select which one are we supposed to use. So one form of addition operation is that we do plus 2x plus 3x, and this gives us a plus 5x. Another addition operation is that we do negative 2x, negative 3x, and that's going to give us the negative 5x. Now, when we go back and we observe our equation, original equation, our middle term is a positive 5x. Now, this is our middle term. So we're going to take this, we're going to break it down into this form. Middle term, our middle term is not a negative 5x, so not our middle term. Hence, this has to be disregarded. Now let's actually break down the middle term. We're gonna write the original formula, original equation, x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0. Plus 5x is broken down into this form, plus 2x plus 3x. We're gonna copy x squared as it is, we're gonna copy plus 6 as it is, we're gonna copy equals to 0 as it is. And our middle term has been successfully broken down. Now we come to step number 4. Step number 4, we factorize. Now this, in simple meanings, factorize means take common, and that is exactly what we're gonna do. And we're gonna factorize in groups of 2. Groups of 2's. Let's copy the middle term broken form that we extracted from step 3, which is x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6 equals 0. Now let's factorize in groups of 2, one group of 2, the second group of 2. X square plus 2x have an x in common, as common. We take out x, and when we take out x out from x square, we're left with an x. We take out x away from plus 2x, we're left with a plus 2. Now time to take out something common from these two. Always remember that the middle sign, which is positive, gets copied as it is. So you need to copy this positive sign as it is, and whatever common then you take out from the other two, that has to be in accordance with this middle sign. So we're gonna take out 3 as common, and when we take plus 3 away from 3x, we are left with an x. When we take plus 3 away from positive 6, we are left with a positive 2. Hence, we have taken out a common, we have factorized in groups of 2. Now, there's a way to check whether everything you've done was up to the mark, has been correct. So what, there's a way to check that. Now, if these brackets are identical, that means that every step up till this point is correct. X plus 2 and x plus 2, both of these brackets are exactly identical. That means everything that we have been doing up till this point is perfectly all right. We haven't done a single mistake up to this point. Now that enables us to transition on to the step 5. Now in step 5, we need to factorize the common bracket out. We're going to rewrite the finalized equation from step 4, x into x plus 2 plus 3 into x plus 2 equals 0. We have a common bracket which is x plus 2. We can take out that common bracket out as common. So we're going to take that common bracket out. We're going to take the entire x plus 2 out as common. And when we take x plus 2 away from this term, from x bracket x plus 2, we're left with an x inside. And when we take x plus 2 away from this term, we're left with a plus 3 inside. Hence, we have taken out x plus 2 as common. Now, in order to make our equation less prone to silly mistakes, we're going to enable a bracket around x plus 2, and we already have a bracket around x plus 3 equals 0. We have an other very simple last step left, step 6, in which we solve each bracket separately with 0. Now copying the simplified equation from step number 5, which is x plus 2, x plus 3 equals 0. We're going to solve each bracket separately with 0. So x plus 2 equals 0, x plus 3 equals 0. We take 2 on the other side, x equals minus 2. We take 3 on the other side, x equals minus 3. Hence, our final answer is x is equals to minus 2, comma, minus 3. Okay, so now we are going to try factorization equations that involve subtraction as an operation for the middle term. Previously, our middle term operation involved an addition. This time, if we need our middle term, we will be doing subtraction. Why are we going to do that? Let's understand that using an example. So one example is x squared plus x minus 6 equals to 0. Now most of the steps are going to be identical as the previous question. For example, the step number 1. In step number 1, we are going to be multiplying the coefficient of x squared, which is 1, and the constant by each other. Once again, as the previous one, 1 times 6 is a 6. So 6 is the constant that we render from step number 1. Now step number 2 is also identical. Step number 3 is also identical, but there is going to be a slight change in step number 2. I beg your pardon. Step number 2 is going to be identical as the step number 2 for the previous question, but there's going to be a slight change over here. This time, the factors of the number in step 1, which is 6, that subtract to give us the middle term, which is 1 in this case, need to be found out by us. Now, why subtract? We've already discussed this earlier, because x squared plus x minus 6, because the constant has a sign of negative. Hence, we need to find out two factors of 6 that subtract to give us the middle term, which is 1. So one pair of factors for 6 is 1 times 6. Now 1 subtracted from 6 gives us a 5, which is not clearly a 1, so we disregard that. Another pair of factors for 6 is 2 times 3. Now 3 subtracted by 2 does give us a 1, and that is the middle term, so we are going to go ahead with this. So this transitions us to the step number 3, which is once again extremely identical to the step 3 of the previous question. Instead of finding out two addition operations to give us the middle term, we're gonna try to find out two different subtraction operations to give us the middle term, and then we're going to narrow down one out of those two. What do I mean by that? Since we need to subtract 3 and 2 to give us a 1, we're going to see in how many ways can we do that, and we're going to attach an x to it, because the middle term obviously is an x and we need a 1x instead of a 1. So we can extract 1 from 3 minus 2 in 3 and 2 in two ways. We can do a positive 3x minus 2x, that's going to give us a positive x. We can do a negative 3x positive 2x, that's going to give us a negative x. Now when we go back into our original question, we see that our middle term is a positive x. So we take our positive x and we disregard the negative x1, and this is what our middle term is going to be broken down into. Let's do that. Let's break down our middle term. We're going to rewrite the original equation, x squared plus x minus 6 equals 0. Plus x gets broken down into a positive 3x into a negative 2x. X squared gets copied as it is. Negative 6 gets copied as it is. This is our step number 3. Now we start off with step number 4, which is once again extremely identical to the step number 4 of the previous question. It's going to be merely a repetition. We just rewrite the final equation, final simplified, or you can say the middle term broken down equation from step 3. And now we have to factorize in groups of 2's. X squared plus 3x have an x as common. So we take away x as common. And when we take away x, we have an x and a plus 3 left inside. When we take away x from x squared, we have an x. When we take away x from plus 3x, we have a plus 3. Now, as discussed earlier, we're going to copy this middle sign as it is negative. And now when we're going to see that whichever thing is being taken out as common, that's going to be influenced by this negative sign. So we see that 2x and a minus 6 have a 2 as common. So we're not taking out 2 as common, we're taking out a negative 2 out as common. When negative 2 is taken away from the negative 2x, taking away means dividing. So when we're dividing negative 2x from negative 2, we're left with a positive x. When we're dividing negative 6 by negative 2, which means that when we're taking negative 2 away from negative 6, we're obviously left with a positive 3. Here we are. Now, step number 5. Once again, extremely identical. We write the simplified factorized equation from step number 4. Now, do we have a common bracket? X plus 3, x plus 3? Yes. That means that everything up till now was perfectly alright. Now we're going to take out the common bracket out as common. We're going to factorize it out. So we're going to take x plus 3 away from both of them. So when we take x plus 3 away from this term, x bracket x plus 3, when we take away x plus 3 away from it, we're only left with an x. When we take x plus 3 away from negative 2 bracket x plus 3, we're left with a negative 2 equals 0. And then just for the sake of easement of our calculations, we attach a bracket to x plus 3 and then x minus 2 equals 0. Step number 6, once again, super identical as the previous one. X plus 3, x minus 2 equals 0. X plus 3 equals 0. X minus 2 equals 0. This gives us the value of x as minus 3 and this gives us the value of x as 2. Our answer is x is equals to minus 3 and 2. Now we are going to try another example which is a bit different from the other type of questions but quite similar in a lot of ways. We're going to write this example is x square minus 4x plus 3 equals 0. Step number 1 is once again same as before. Coefficient of x square is 1. The constant is 3. 1 times 3 is a 3. Move on to step number 2. We need the factors of 3 from step number 1 that add to give the middle term, which is 4. 1 times 3 as a pair of factors of 3 gives us a 3. Gives us a 3 and 1 plus 3 do give us 4. Hence, we can break down our middle term into 1 plus 3. Step number 3. We figure out the addition operation. There are two types of addition operation. For 1 and 3 to give us a 4, we are going to have to attach x to it since we need a 4x. So we can either do plus x plus 3x. This is one kind of an addition operation. This is going to give us a positive 4x. This is not our middle term. The other sort of an operation, addition operation under the rules of integers is minus x and minus 3x. This gives us a negative 4x. Yes, this is our middle term. So we're going to break down our middle term this way in minus x and minus 3x form. Let's do that. Our original equation is x square minus 4x plus 3. Minus 4x gets broken down into minus x and minus 3x. x square gets copied as it is, plus 3 gets copied as it is, equals to 0, equals to 0. Step number 4, we factorize in pairs of 2's. First this pair, we take out x as common. When we take x away from x square, we're left with an x. When we take x away from minus x, we're left with a negative 1. This negative sign comes over here. Both of them have a 3 as common, so we're taking away a negative 3, influenced by the middle sign. When we take away negative 3 from negative 3x, we're left with an x. When we take negative 3 away from positive 3, it means the positive 3 dividing by negative 3, this gives us a negative. Both of the brackets are same, that means everything up till now are exactly correct. Step number 5, we write the simplified factorized equation from the previous step. Minus 3x minus 1. We have x minus 1 as a common bracket. We take out x minus 1 out as common. When we take x minus 1 away from x bracket x minus 1, we're left with an x. When we take x minus 1 away from negative 3x minus 1, we're left with a negative 3. We attach a bracket with x minus 1. And step 5 is simplified to this form. We obviously have to attach an equals to 0 from earlier. Step number 6 is simple solve. Minus 1 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0, x is equals to 1, x is equals to 3. Answer, x is equals, answers are 1, 3. Okay, so we're gonna try another type of a question. X squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. Step 1 is the same as all the other type of questions. The coefficient for x squared is 1 and the constant is 6. 1 times 6 gives us a 6. In step number 2, we're going to look for factors of 6 that subtract to give us the middle term, which is 1. So 1 times 6 do give us a 6, and 6 minus 1 gives us a 5, which is not the middle term. And 2 times 3 gives us a 6, and 3 subtracted by 2 give us a 1, which is the middle term. So this 3 minus 2 are the factors that we're going to use in step number 3 to break down our middle term. Since we need the operation of subtraction to find out our middle term, there are two types of subtraction operations involving 3 minus 2 to give us 1. We also have to attach an x. We can do 3x minus 2x, that's going to give plus 3x minus 2x, that's going to give us a positive x. We can do a negative 3x plus 2x, that's going to give us a negative x. We need our middle term is a negative x. So this is what we're going to take. Positive x is not our middle term, so that is going to be disregarded. X squared minus x minus 6, we rewrite the original equation. Negative x is broken down into a negative 3x, positive 2x, x squared gets copied, negative 6 gets copied. We transition on to step number 4, in which we have to take out common in pairs of 2. Common between x squared and minus 3x is x. When we take away x from x squared, we have an x. When we take away x from the negative 3x, we have a negative 3 left. Middle sign copied over here, plus. Something common between 2x and a negative 6 is 2. So we take away 2. So that means that we need to take out a positive 2 away. When we take out a positive 2 away from 2x, we're left with an x. When we take away a positive 2 away from negative x, that means when we're dividing negative 6 from a positive 2, we get a negative 3 equals 0. So we move to step 5. Let's rewrite the factorized equation from step number 4, x bracket x minus 3 plus 2 bracket x minus 3 equals 0. Now we need to take out the common bracket out as common. Take x minus 3 out. When we take away x minus 3 from this term, we're left with an x. When we take away x minus 3 from this term, we're left with a positive 2. We put a bracket with an x minus 3 to ease our calculations for us and avoid silly mistakes. Step number 6, solving each of them separately with 0. Minus 3 equals 0, x is equals to 3, x is equals to minus 2. Answers are 3, comma, minus 2. And this is our final answer. Up till now, we have been doing questions that involved the coefficient of x square as only 1. This time, we're going to try a question that does not have 1 as a coefficient of x square. For example, the question 4x square minus 9x plus 2. This is a slightly different type of a question, but is going to be solved using the same steps that we have been following throughout. The coefficient of x square as being something different than 1 does not influence our method of solving this equation. All the steps are going to be exactly the same. Step number 1, the coefficient of x square is 4. The constant is 2. 4 times 2 gives us an 8. Now, in step 2, we need to figure out factors of 8 that add up to give us a 9. There are two types of factors. 1 times 8 give us 8 and 1 plus 8 do give us a 9. So yes, we can take that. Another factor can be 2 times 4, another pair, which also gives us an 8, and 2 plus 4 gives us a 6, not the middle term which is 9, so we're going to disregard that. And this is the operation that we will have to break down our work into. In step number 3, we need an addition operation. There are two ways in which we can have an addition operation. We can do a plus x plus 8x, that's going to give us a positive 9x. We can do a negative x and a negative 8x, that's going to give us a negative 9x. Since our middle term is a negative 9x, this is what we're going to go ahead with, and this is what we're going to disregard. And before going on to the step 4, we're going to break down our middle term into its constituent elements. So plus 2 over here. A negative 9x is going to be broken down into a negative x and a negative 8x. Copy 4x squared. We copy a positive 2 equals 2 gets copied as it is. In step number 4, we need to take commons. So just write the simplified formula for x squared minus 8x plus 2 equals 0. Now 4x squared and minus x have an x as common, so we're going to take out x as common. So when we take away x from 4x squared, we have a 4x. When we take away x from a negative x, we are left with a negative 1. Then we have a negative 8x plus 2. Negative sign on the middle gets copied as it is. And 8x and 2 both have a 2 as common, so I take out 2. When we take away negative 2 from negative 8x, we're left with a 4x. When we take away negative 2 from a 2, we're left with a negative 1. Taking away negative 2 from 2 means when we divide 2 from a negative 2, we're left with a negative 1. Is equals to 0. Both of the brackets are same. That means everything up till now is absolutely correct. And step number 5, I just rewrite the simplified formula in the step 4. That's x bracket 4x minus 1 minus 2 bracket 4x minus 1 equals 0. We take 4x minus 1 out as common. When we take away 4x minus 1 out from this one, we have x left. When we take away 4x minus 1 from this, we have a minus 2 left. We apply the bracket on both sides of the 4x minus 1, and this is our simplified form. In step number 6, we just need to solve both of the brackets separately. 4x minus 1 equals 0, x minus 2 equals 0, 4x equals 1, x is equals to 1 upon 4, x is equals to 2. Hence our answer are 1 upon 4 comma 2. And that is it.